Dear children, we are now going to start with chapter number 6, tissues. On your screen, you can see the picture of amoeba. We all know that amoeba is a unicellular organism, right? In these unicellular organisms, this single cell is able to perform all the basic functions needed to maintain the life or to sustain the life. For example, this amoeba will carry out movement. It is able to perform the exchange of respiratory gases. It is able to perform excretion. It is able to, take food in and digest it inside the cell. So that means all the basic life processes which are required to maintain or sustain the life are performed by this single cell. But is this the case with multicellular organisms? No. We all know that multicellular organisms show division of labor or differentiation. Now the meaning of the word differentiation or division of labor we have already seen in chapter fundamental unit of life. Okay, what is division of labor or what is differentiation? Let's see. The process of taking up a permanent size, shape and a function by cells is known as differentiation. There are so many cells present in the body of multicellular organisms, okay, but some of them are committed, let's say, to develop themselves as muscle cells. Some of them are differentiated as nerve cells. Some of them will take up the process of digestion and so on, right? So like that, they show differentiation or division of labor, and further these cells take up the form of tissues make organs make organ systems, and organ systems make organism. For example, if I talk about excretory system, then it has its own organs which will help in the process of excretion. If I talk about respiratory system, then it has its own organs which would take part in the process of respiration and so on, and many such organ systems would form organism. So this process in which a specific group of cells or organs or organ systems are given up a specific function is known as differentiation or division of labor. Now what do you think, why is it important this process of differentiation in multicellular organisms? This is because to ensure the efficient working of body. See, if all the cells in my body start performing all the functions at a time, it would be like master of all, jack of none. That means these cells will not be able to work efficiently. They will not be able to give their best. So for that reason, these cells are differentiated and they are assigned a particular task so that they will perform that function efficiently. Okay, so body is assured all the time that yes, this organ system is there to take care of this particular function. So because of this, to ensure the efficient working of body, all the cells in multicellular organisms are differentiated or they show division of labor. Now we all know that plants and animals are made up of different types of tissues. The tissues that we have and plants have are definitely different. Why so? There are three possible reasons. First is they show different modes of life or different feeding methods. We all know that all plants are photosynthetic, they are autotrophic, they make their own food, whereas animals are heterotrophic. Okay, so plants, if they need to make food, then they need that kind of tissue which would help in the process of photosynthesis. And if we animals are heterotrophic, then we definitely need a kind of tissue which will help in grabbing the food, because heterotrophs are going to be dependent on other sources, isn't it? So because of that, the plants and animals are going to show different types of tissues. Okay, their feeding methods are also different. For example, animals would take food from other sources, but the feeding method of plant is self dependent. The plants are able to make their own food and utilize it as well. So this is the first reason. The second reason is that both plants and animals show different patterns of growth. Now this is very very important. What does it mean? See, on your screen you have a picture of plant. In plants, the growth is unlimited and localized. Unlimited growth means what? Plant will continue to grow during its lifespan. Okay, for example, if I take small let's say mango sapling, and over the period of maybe 5 or 10 years it will grow into a big tree. But does it mean then that the growth of that particular mango tree stopped? No. Okay, it will continue to grow till it is alive. Okay, so this kind of growth is known as unlimited, whereas in animals the growth is limited. When you reach at the certain age, maybe when you are 21 years old, then most of the growth in your body is completed. Okay, you can see that once height is reached to specific point, then it will not increase further. Okay, that means the growth in animals is limited. Second point here is the growth in plants is localized. Localized means what? The growth is going to occur in plants in some local regions. You might have observed plants growing from root tips and shoot tips. Okay, and if the any branch of a plant is going to grow in its size, then it would grow with the help of its tip. Is this the case with animals? No. Does it happen that our limbs, that is hands and legs, are only increasing in its length, or we are just growing from our head region? It will not happen. All the organs in the body will grow simultaneously. Okay, they will develop simultaneously. So this kind of growth is known as uniform growth. So basically in plants the growth is unlimited and localized, whereas the pattern of growth in animals is limited and uniform, and this is the reason why we require different types of tissues. Okay, the third reason is both plants and animals show different adaptations. We all know what are adaptations. Okay, basically plants are made for sedentary existence. Sedentary existence means what? They are fixed at one place. They do not want a specific tissue to move, okay, from here and there. Whereas animals are meant for active locomotion. The movement which results in change in position is known as locomotion. You will never observe a plant which is able to locomote, but animals are going to locomote, and for that reason animals and plants have different types of tissues. Okay, now here is the definition of tissue, because the name of our chapter is tissue, right? What is tissue? It is a group of cells that are similar in structure, function and origin. Okay, mostly tissues may, all the cells are similar in their structure, they are going to perform specific or related function, and mostly they have same origin. And the study of tissues is called as histology. What is it called? Histology. And now we are going to talk about plant tissues. Okay, basically in this chapter we are going to study both plant as well as animal tissues. Now let us get started with plant tissues. Now basically plant tissues are of two types. In any plant body you will find these two basic types of tissues. Which are they? Meristematic tissue and permanent tissue. Now what is the difference between these two? Basically meristematic tissue is the one which will help the plant in its growth. Here the cells will continuously multiply or divide. Okay, and permanent tissues are the tissues where cells have taken up the permanent size, shape and function. Okay, that means these cells are differentiated. Okay, permanent tissues will the cells in the permanent tissues are not able to divide. They have lost the ability of cell division. Okay, so if the tissue in the plant body is continuously dividing, cells there are dividing, then we would call it as a meristematic tissue. And if the cells have lost ability to divide or multiply and they have taken up a permanent size, shape and function, then we would refer it as a permanent tissue. And there are subtypes of these tissues as well, but all these subtypes we would see in the upcoming videos. So here we finish our video number 1.